All right, the little spinning circle's happening. You know what that means, Wendy? It's time for another Money Move show. And today we've got a hot topic we're going to be talking about, and that is unemployment, layoffs, all of the above, right? There's word on the street that a lot of companies, I'm sure you've seen it in the news on Google, about layoffs happening left and right, and there are more to come for 2023. So we're going to be talking about the things that you can do to prepare for a layoff in advance in case you're worried about it happening to you. So reach out to your friends, let them know John and Wendy are getting ready to get started, and get ready for another Money Moves in just a few seconds. All right, Wendy. So let's talk about that. We've got all kinds of news on the economy happening left and right, and we're going to do a couple of episodes on what's going on in the economy and the storm that's coming and what you can do to prepare. But let's start with the thing that's obvious to everybody. I don't know. Have you ever been laid off at all in any of your past careers? Twice. Okay, I got you beat.
I know.
3 times for me. I don't know about you, but yeah, the experience overall sucked. I'm just going to say it. Right. It wasn't a fun experience, but what jobs were you laid off from?
One was a startup company that we were doing retail and with a product, and they decided to take the product pharmaceuticals, so they got rid of everybody. So we just one day came in and we're not going this direction anymore. So peace out. The next one, our company was bought out by a larger company, and our division was taken over by the big company. So we were all like,
yeah. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I had I spent a career in banking when I first got out of school, and banking is a very volatile career, especially like when mortgage rates go up, things like that. I was in the mortgage division for a couple of those, and when the rates went up, volume dried up, and that's even going on right now. So all you mortgage brothers and sisters out there, I feel your pain, but there are alternatives out there. And the last one, it was just the company changed their mind. I was working remote. They decided they want to pull everybody in, and I said I wasn't moving, and they said, well, okay, sayonara. And so they did away with all remote positions. So
that is happening. So I have kind of an in to the corporate world and what companies are doing right now. And one of the big things is, with 2020 and the pandemic, everybody went remote, and they're trying to pull those people back in, and a lot of people don't want to go. And so, that's causing some issues.
They're doing away with the positions, and, that's going to result in downsizing. Plus you've got the economy's changing, right? And you've got takeovers, Twitter laid off a large number, and we're not getting into all that, but just a lot of tech companies are laying off right now, and just a lot of people across the board. So you may be worried about, is it going to come to you? Right. And it's one of those things that maybe you'll get a heads up about it. Maybe you won't. I literally, when I was in banking, there was another division of ours that everybody showed up for work one day and the front doors were locked, when they had big signs on the window saying, we are no longer open for business. You have been, formally let off. You'll receive an individual call on your, it was horrible. What a way to find out, right? You go into work thinking everything's okay, and then just boom, sniper attack on your job. So it's unfortunate anyway it happens, but there are some things that you can do to kind of prepare for that and get your headset, your mindset, if you will, in the right place, and take some action items today. Again, just to prepare. Like if I was out in a sunny day, had all my windows up, my car windows down, I had the windows up in the house, and I see storm clouds moving in, I'm going to go close the windows and prepare before the storm actually gets here. This is nothing different, folks. So, number one, is to kind of don't panic. Right. It's a scary situation. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't prepare. It's happened. What do I do now? So number one is just remind yourself, and this has happened to me, Wendy. I don't know if every time that's happened to me, it was scary as hell going through it. But on the other side of it, I came out ahead. I found a better job, or I started my own business in a couple of cases. It was just, I came out better on the other side. It forced me to make a move. Right.
That's how I became an entrepreneur. Right. My second layoff in a row, I was like, forget it. Like, I have this other little thing that I'm doing. Maybe I'll make that the main thing. And I did. And in, 2 years, I doubled my corporate income. So
Yep, exactly. And you've got to realize too that you keep yourself busy, right? You stay focused on things and stay focused on yourself and moving the ball forward. You're going to take your mind off of things. What you don't want to do is sit around and just watch TV all day, right? So you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest with your family on what's going on, and kind of shore some things up. But have yourself in the right mindset, stay busy, and also realize that you may have a 2-month, 3-month, maybe even a 6-month severance. You think, oh, I got all the time in the world. You don't. Take action now and be immediate. And if you do have a nice severance, use that as extra money for your projects or a trip or whatever for your family after you went through that. Because here's the thing, when layoffs happen, it typically, it can happen with just one company or one industry. But when you've got an economic situation like we have going on now, typically it's layoffs across multiple industries. So that means you have a huge influx of people now looking for jobs that you're competing with to find your next job. So I don't think you've got plenty of time. Get on it now. But again, stay busy and kind of reassure yourself that, hey, things are going to get better, right? And make sure you're kind of collecting all your information as far as, okay, what's my plan? What's my strategy? And kind of things like that. I don't know if you've got anything else to add on that mindset piece, Wendy.
No. I mean, I think that's it. Like, I love your point about not like sitting back and being like, oh, let's enjoy the show, take advantage of this time off, right?
Yeah.
Use that money, put it to work, and get out there and find something else, or use it to launch your own business or whatever, But
Bingo. There you go. And I've seen that more than one time. That's why I bring it up, where they think they've got all the time in the world. I've seen people take the summer off and whatever. I actually did that in 2008 when that hit. But I found a job within 2 weeks, and we just pushed the start date out of, so I took a few weeks off for the summer with the kids and stuff like that and had a good time, but I already had the job lined up. Right. So it was one of those, I took action quick. It was like all hands on deck, make it happen. So again, don't dawdle, don't waste your time. And so the second thing you really want to look at is, when you do get laid off, don't just assume that the company's got your best interest at heart. Right. They've let you go. So as far as they're concerned, they're going to be nice. They're going to be polite. No, it's not you, it's us, whatever. Right. You want to do your research. You want to know your rights in your state, and what that process should look like. There are different states with unemployment, severance, and things like that. You also want to know the company policy, especially if you've been at the company for a while. You may be entitled to certain amount of severance based on your time with the company. So you definitely want to know that, and then also do a little bit of research on the health insurance aspect of it, because that's, especially if you're the prime provider and you're providing insurance for yourself, or more importantly, your family, what does that look like on the other side of that? I don't know, Wendy, I mean, obviously you've got kids and things like that. That's important, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people keep their jobs in the first place, right? It's for those benefits.
Yeah, exactly. So the third piece, and this is kind of the piece we're going to spend a little more time on, is obviously what we do is really get your financial house in order. And, even before you get laid off, I mean, you see the storm on the horizon, what's going on in the economy. If you've been thinking about, trying to stack some money back, right? You should have an emergency fund. We always tell everybody start with $1,000, and then you want 3 months of expenses. If you can get up to 6 months, that's great. More than 6 months, you're burning money, due to inflation and whatnot. But, you look at what's going on, and I don't know, I think you've done some research on the unemployment rate. I mean, it's been low for the last, I'd say up to about 2020, 2021, then it started creeping up, and now we're kind of getting in, before it was under 2%, it had been there for a while. Now we're getting into a situation where, it's over 2%. I think it's 2.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah. And they're forecasting in the next year it getting up over 5 and even up to 6%.
So it's definitely, and you may not think, okay, well, that's 6%. That's not a big deal. The numbers the government reports, folks, typically aren't accurate, right? They're usually a little higher. Inflation, I don't believe inflation's what it at. I actually think it's in double digits and things like that. So take that with a grain of salt if you're a firm believer on that. But I'm telling you, there are hundreds of thousands of people that are losing their jobs and will be losing their jobs over the next year. Hopefully it's not you. But if it is, again, what a great time now, while things are still calm, you've still got the paycheck coming in, to start looking at side careers, right? We've talked about those side hustles, things like that, extra money. There are a lot of affiliate programs out there, and that you can make money on, things like that, right?
Yeah. There's so many different ways to make. I had a friend reach out last night. She said, I need to make an extra $3,000 a month. What do I do? Help me out. And I'm
Yep.
like, I gave her 5 options. I'm like, which one lights your fire? But there's so many opportunities and even if you don't need to make $3,000, if you need to make an extra 500 or 1,000 a month, find something and start like doing that. And even if you have a full-time job, I mean, even if you're not anticipating a layoff, I'm a huge believer, like having that additional stream of income, stack some cash, and set yourself up for a future that you're going to love. So
Yeah. And that's how I started, the career I'm in now. I mean, I had a traditional job in my last job. Now, that last job, I didn't get laid off. I quit to go full time in my own business. But I started working it while I had a full time job. I started working my little side hustle while I had a full time job, and I was spending 5 hours a week. Not a big time commitment, 10 hours a week sometimes. I ended up, I don't know, I think I made like $30,000 that first year just in my side hustle. And I started looking at it, I'm like, you know what? If I went full time, what would happen? So, I mean, like Wendy said, I mean, it's a strong possibility. Find something you like to do and figure out a way to get paid for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I remind most people in the corporate world is, everybody wants to be wealthy. Okay. And whatever wealth is to you, that's different than the next person. But, we all want to have that, the ability not to worry about money and that freedom from worry and things like that. But if you're not doing something about it, it's never really going to happen. And most people that are in the job world think they're going to be able to do it with one stream of income.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, most millionaires out there have 7 streams of income. Now, that doesn't mean they're working 7 full-time jobs, folks. That is not what that means at all. But they're trying to figure out, we've got a family friend, their kid, this is no kidding. He takes and sells shoes on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. He'll go out, find good deals on name brand tennis shoes and stuff like that are like trendy. Mm-hmm. And then he'll turn right around and he'll buy 2 or 3 pair and then he'll sell them for a profit on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. I mean, even something as simple as that. I've got a neighbor who he's got a whole golf store. He loves golfing. And so he's got a whole store out of his garage where he's selling stuff. He buys it at bulk or buys it at wholesale, buys it on sale or whatever on clearance, and then he'll turn around and sell it for a profit on his eBay store. See, there's a lot of different things you can do in your spare time to make that extra money. Now, the question is, what do you do with that extra money? You don't go blow it, right?
Yeah.
Number one, you stack it back for your rainy day fund, like put some cash back to take a little bit of that pressure off if the layoff does happen for you. Number 2, pay down your debts, right? Mm-hmm. Pay down your debts. And then while you're paying down your debts, make sure you're building out a spending plan and start looking at ways to cut your everyday expenditures. And you're going to definitely want to do that once that layoff happens. But get out, sit down. I like to call it a spending plan, Wendy. We've talked about that, but that budget on, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what it looks like. And, again, like I said, having that emergency fund set back. So
yeah, tell your money what to do.
That's right. Tell your money what to do. Something else to throw out there. If you've got credit cards, things like that, and you've been with your credit card company or even your provider, like, your security company if you've got a security system on your house, and your contract's technically up, or like I said, with the credit card, everything's negotiable, folks. Mm-hmm. Everything's negotiable. Call them and say, hey, I got approached by a local company here for my home security system, and they offered me a better deal for monitoring. Can you match it? If not, I may need to leave. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, they're going to do something for you, right? Same thing with your credit card. If you've been a good customer, you don't run a lot of high balances, especially if your balance is lower, you can negotiate your rate or at least ask them. My grandma always told me it never hurts to ask, right? You may not get the answer you want, but at least you ask. If you don't ask, you're always going to get the no answer, right? Mm-hmm. So, again, there's a lot of different things you can do with regards to saving money and stacking money, right?
Even I've noticed, even like my online subscriptions to things, every once in a while I'll go in to cancel, and they never let you just cancel, right? No. And most of the time, you'll get the option of, hey, we'll give you this better rate if you stay this, for 6 months or a year.
Yep.
And so that, and then also one thing I've done, you know, especially like people that get tax returns or bonus money or whatever, anything that you have that's monthly subscriptions, typically, if you pay for the year, it's much cheaper,
Yep.
like 20% a lot of times.
Yep.
So I try and always pay for things by the year too, so I don't have to worry about that.
Exactly. And yeah, it may be a little more expensive, but if you break it out, and you know, it's usually not that big of a deal, and you end up saving money. If you save, you know, 20% on 2, 3, 4, 5 things, that adds up.
Yep.
So then lastly, it becomes to, okay, what do I do as far as, you know, finding that next job, right? You know, again, I think you should look at the side hustle. I looked at my side hustle as a parachute because, like I said, I'd been laid off, and it got pretty nerve wracking there for a little bit. And I swore to God, I would never let that happen to me or my family again. And so I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I've got another stream of income that at least, you know, can cover my bills and things like that. And it ended up becoming my full-time income, but I'm still building multiple streams of income. But if you do want to go back in that corporate career, start polishing things up right now. You know, if you're on LinkedIn, great resource. I love LinkedIn, right? Get your profile updated, right? Get it all cleaned up and things like that. Make sure you put specific accomplishments, not just, hey, this is what I did. What did you accomplish? That's what they're looking for. Start building that network too. Wendy's the queen of networking. I mean, that's how we actually got introduced, was to a networking event. But, you know, building that network of people in your industry and things like that. And don't just connect with them to connect with them. Connect with them to get to know them. You know, go in with that mindset of I'm making a new friend, because then you come off across genuine. And that's really where those connections start happening. It's not going to be on the, hey, you're my new connection, can I have a job? That's never going to work. So build those relationships, right?
Love it. Good advice.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't be scared. Like you said in the beginning, like, don't freak out. Don't be scared. Just be prepared.
Yep. And you ask friends of yours, maybe you've never been laid off and this is like a scary thing the first time, but ask friend or, you know, mentors of yours, have you ever gone through a layoff? What was it like? And I would almost guarantee that 9 out of 10 of them will say they came out better on the other side. It's just scary when you're going through it. But it's forcing you to make a move. It's forcing you, you know, be honest with yourself. What are your shortcomings? Where can I improve? Things like that, and work on that. But work on it quickly. And again, do not sit around and just think you've got all the time in the world, because you are going to be competing with everybody else that got laid off for those fewer jobs, right? That's what layoffs mean. It's not just the people got let go, the jobs went away too. So that means the job opportunity is less than it was. So again, keep your chin up. Good luck. Go at it. Prepare now. Storms, clouds are on the horizon. So make sure you're doing something about it now rather than waiting until the rain starts falling. Good luck. Again, we're here every Tuesday. Do me a favor, click that little subscribe button down below if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're catching this in a replay at blackswanmoney.com, do us a favor, put a little comments or two down below. We'd love to hear from you too. We do go back and check those. And if you've got a topic you'd like to hear about with regards to money moves, let us know. We'll maybe do a show for you, maybe even have you on here. So thanks again, everybody. Wendy, we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye-bye, everyone.